Hello, dear subscribers. Today I'll tell you about one of the most haunting and unforgettable novels ever written, The Great Gatsby. There was a summer once, bright, restless, and glittering with golden light, when the rich laughed too loudly and the poor watched from the shadows. It was the summer of 1922, when America danced to the rhythm of jazz, and the air smelled of gin, money, and dreams. That was the summer I met Jay Gatsby. My name is Nick Carraway. I came from the Midwest, from a quiet and honest family, and I had just arrived in New York to learn about the bond business, a polite way of saying I wanted to make money. I rented a small house in West Egg, a village on Long Island, where the new rich lived, those who had earned their fortunes recently and loved to show them off. Across the bay lay East Egg, home of the old money, people who were born rich and wore their superiority like a crown. My tiny cottage stood beside a huge mansion that looked like a fairy tale castle. Nights there were never quiet. Music floated across the bay. Lights glowed from every window, and cars came and went like bees around honey. Every weekend, the mansion hosted a party, hundreds of people, strangers to one another, dressed in silk and gold, laughing, drinking, and dancing until sunrise. And though the house was always full, its owner remained a mystery. People whispered about him. He once killed a man. He's a German spy. No, he's a prince. No one really knew who Gatsby was. One evening, curiosity got the better of me. I received an invitation, handwritten, elegant, to one of those famous parties. I went, and amidst the laughter and champagne, I accidentally met the host himself. He was nothing like I expected. No arrogance, no loudness, just a polite smile and a calm voice. "I'm Gatsby," he said simply. In that moment, he seemed ordinary, yet something about his eyes made you believe he was chasing something far beyond ordinary life. From that night, we became friends, or perhaps he allowed me close enough to see the edges of his dream. Chapter 2, The Past That Never Dies. Gatsby was in love. Not with money, not with power, but with a memory. 5 years earlier, during the war, he had met a young woman, Daisy Faye, beautiful, rich, careless in that way only the privileged can be. She was light itself to him, but he was poor, just a soldier. When he went to war, Daisy married another man, Tom Buchanan, a wealthy brute with a cruel smile and a heart that beat for control, not love. Yet Gatsby never let go. Every success he achieved, every party he threw, every suit he wore, every dream he built, all of it was for Daisy. His mansion faced her house across the bay, and at night, he would stand at his dock, reaching his hand toward the green light that burned at the end of her pier, a small, trembling light that symbolized everything he desired but could never truly touch. He believed he could repeat the past, as if time were clay he could reshape with enough willpower. That was his fatal mistake. Chapter 3, The Reunion. One day, I arranged for Gatsby and Daisy to meet again. It was raining, nervous, gentle rain. Gatsby was trembling like a boy. His confidence vanished. He was human again, fragile and hopeful. When Daisy entered my house, the air changed. Years melted away. She saw Gatsby, the man she once loved, and for a moment, her eyes filled with tears. They talked awkwardly, laughed shyly, and slowly the room grew warm with nostalgia. Then the rain stopped. The sun broke through, and everything glowed. Gatsby smiled in a way I had never seen before, as if the universe had just given him back his soul. From that day, they began to see each other again. Secretly, Gatsby's dream had come alive. But dreams that come true too late often lose their magic. Chapter 4, The Mask Cracks. Tom Buchanan, Daisy's husband, was no fool. He noticed her changing moods, her sudden silences, the glow in her eyes when Gatsby's name appeared. He began to investigate the man who had dared to love his wife. Tom discovered that Gatsby's fortune wasn't inherited. It was built through questionable business with shady partners. Gatsby wasn't the noble prince people imagined. He was a self-made man from nothing, shaped by ambition, deception, and love. When Tom confronted him, Gatsby didn't deny it. "Yes," he said quietly, "but everything I did was for Daisy." They all met one boiling summer afternoon at the Plaza Hotel in New York. The city steamed under the weight of their secrets. Words turned to accusations. Daisy trembled. Tom pushed Gatsby. "What kind of man are you? You think you can steal my wife?" Gatsby looked at Daisy, not at Tom. "Tell him you never loved him," Gatsby whispered. "Say it." Daisy. For a heartbeat, she almost did. But then fear, guilt, confusion. Oh, you want too much, she cried. I did love him once, but I loved you too. And in that single confession, Gatsby's dream shattered. Chapter 5, The Death of a Dream. They drove back from the city in silence. Daisy was at the wheel of Gatsby's yellow car, trembling, eyes full of tears. When they passed through the gray valley, the poor, desolate industrial wasteland, tragedy struck. Myrtle Wilson, Tom's mistress, ran into the road, desperate to escape her life, and Daisy hit her. She killed her instantly. Terrified, Daisy sped away, leaving Gatsby to take the blame. He loved her enough to sacrifice everything, even his life. That night, he waited outside her house, standing beneath her window to make sure she was safe. Inside, Daisy and Tom sat together, not mourning, not confessing, just planning their escape. Gatsby believed she would call him in the morning, but she never did. Chapter 6, The End of Gatsby. The next day, while Gatsby floated in his pool, dreaming of a future that would never come, George Wilson, Myrtle's husband, found him. Tom had told George that the yellow car belonged to Gatsby. Grief and rage guided his hand. He shot Gatsby, then himself. And just like that, the man who had dreamed of love greater than time, who built palaces of light from nothing, was gone. When I arrived, the house was empty. The parties had stopped. The laughter was gone. Nobody came to his funeral. All those hundreds of people who drank his wine, who used his generosity, not one of them cared enough to say goodbye. Only I stood there, in the rain, beside the grave of the man who had believed too deeply in dreams. Chapter 7, The Green Light. In the end, Gatsby's story isn't about money, or even love. It's about hope, that fragile, foolish human instinct that keeps us reaching for something just beyond our grasp. He believed the past could be reclaimed, that love could outshine time, that the green light across the bay could become real if he only reached far enough. But the truth is cruel. The light always stays just out of reach. As I left New York, I looked back one last time. The city gleamed like a mirage. I thought of Gatsby, of his faith, his smile, and his loneliness. He had wanted too much, but perhaps that's what makes him beautiful, that he dared to dream in a world that had forgotten how. So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and remember, truth is freedom. Goodbye.